Hey y'all, it's your girl Symone and welcome back to my channel. If y'all can see by the title, today is another story time. So before we get into this video, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, give a girl a thumbs up, comment down below. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials, Instagram, Vivalayoshii, TikTok, Twitter, at LifeWithSymone. Follow me at my business page at Brishari as well because tomorrow we'll be dropping this pink bag October 3rd on National Mean Girls Day. I didn't do the drop how I wanted to do, but it's fine. And y'all, I just wanted to say it does have a crossbody. All my bags have additional strap and turn to crossbodies, but yeah, I just had to shout myself out. But yeah, what I was gonna say, today is day number 2 of Vlogtober, day number 2 of week of story times, y'all. I recorded this, it's literally Tuesday, September 26th, but it's October 2nd, so hello. Yeah, so let's get straight into this story. So y'all asked, so I deliver. What y'all call me? The mail lady, because that's what I do, deliver when y'all ask. No, I'm just kidding, y'all don't call me that. But yeah, this story time, y'all been asking me to tell the story time about how me and Toxic stopped talking. So in my last story time, some story time ago, I asked y'all what stories do y'all want to hear for a week of story times in October, and y'all gave me a few, and yeah, so I'm talking about them. So y'all asked me what happened about me and Toxic. I've been talking about this for a long time. I never mentioned it. So y'all, this is gonna be a few stories into it, because this is literally I can't tell y'all that story without telling y'all these first, because it just leads up so it could all make sense, and then y'all could tell me if I'm wrong, because I still got some questions. I don't know. So yeah, let's get into it. So this was back when I was in college. Remember I told y'all me and Toxic had fell off for like on and off. We was kind of like getting back cool. Remember I told y'all how I would take her to work and she was talking to old boy, the boy that was the PIMP and was trying to get, yeah, so I forgot what I named that boy, but it really doesn't matter. So after that situation, y'all, this is like some time later, me and her, we had, like I said, we fell off and we tried to be like cool again, but it was so weird. Like it was just weird between us. It just wasn't the same. And I felt like because when we got older, like she was more raised with a strict mom that didn't let her do shit like that, where I had a mom where I could do stuff. So it's like when she got that freedom, I felt like she just was doing too much. Like it just was too much. I felt like I was going with the flow in life, and I felt like she was just doing the most. Like it was just weird, but maybe I was tripping. I don't know. Maybe it was me. But anyway, that wasn't the issue. So yeah, around this time I'm in college. I'm hanging out with my college friends that I met. Remember I told y'all at one point I started hanging out in the hood every day. So this is kind of when I started hanging out all the time. So y'all remember my college homegirl Shisha? So yeah, I was hanging out with Shisha, and through Shisha, I ended up meeting her friends. So Shisha had these 2 friends, which I gotta tell the story about that too. So Shisha had 2 friends. One of them did not like me. I don't know. That girl did not like me at all. But I gotta tell y'all about that. I don't know what was up with her. So her and Shisha was like this, but I don't know what it was, because when I came around, the girl did not like me and nothing like that. And they trio turned into our trio, because one of the friends, she was cool with me. So we're gonna give her a name. Let's call her Tanya. So the girl Tanya, she was cool. Like me and Tanya, we cool, we clicked immediately. But the other girl, I can't think of her name right now. Oh, I think I mentioned her before, and I said like her wigs used to give cone head. Like it was weird, yeah. But I don't know. But yeah, she don't need a name right now. But anyway, she's Shisha friend. They was like a 3 trio. Her and Shisha been friends forever. But I don't know why. They must have had like unresolved issues or something, because Shisha literally cut that girl off. Like she would deal with her every now and again, but it was all us hanging out. Like it was like, okay, you don't like my new friend, bye. I don't know. It was weird, but well, not weird. But I don't know. It was, I don't know. Don't know. So anyway, like I said, because she used to date girls and guys, so I don't know. I used to ask her like, did you and your homegirl ever do something before? Like, is that why she acting weird or something? She was like, no, like I don't know why she act like that. I never did nothing with that girl. It's not like that. So anyway, let's go. Okay, so anyway, like I said, so this is when we start hanging out all the time in the hood. So Tanya, that's why I named her Tanya. So Tanya ended up let's just name her Toya. Let's say Toya instead, because I like Toya better. So okay, so Toya, she ended up getting put on to the hood that we was hanging out in, right? We used to go over there, and like I said, some of the people from that hood, I knew them because I went to like middle school with them and shit like that. So I already like kind of knew these people. I ain't seen them in a long time, but they went to high school and shit with these people, so they was kind of really like close with them. So Toya ended up getting put on to the hood, right? She had asked us like, y'all gonna get put on? I'm like, no, because mind y'all, like I said, I have family from this hood, and they was not finna go for none of that. Not gonna go for that. So no. Toya ended up getting put on the hood, blah, blah, blah. So around this time, you know, we all still hanging out. We all hang out and stuff. But they wanted her to put time in put time in the hood. She had to put her hours in, you know? Put your hours in the community. I'm just kidding. But no, for real, she has to put her hours in the hood. They used to tell her, like, you need to get your hours up. But mind you, we was already hanging around there anyway. But, like, they wanted her to come to, like, parties and shit. Like, shit like that they was doing. They, like, she had to, like, get closer with her homegirls from the hood and shit like that. You know, even though she around, like, it was just, like, hood politics type shit. So one day, she told me, we was over there, and they was like, they having a little, like, kickback tonight. So we like, ooh, we gonna go. She like, you wanna come? So she should have family from over there too, but she didn't really wanna go. Like, I don't know, she just didn't wanna go. So she was like, she not going. She already said she wasn't going. So I'm like, dang, all right. So me and Toya, I'm like, Toya, like, she going, and this is my homegirl now too. So I'm like, even though, like, all the girls is cool, like, I went to school probably with a few of the girls, I don't know them. Like, you know, people change. We older now. So I'm like, I'm not about to let Toya go by herself. That's really just how I felt. Like, I'm like, dang, I kind of didn't want to go because my people from the hood, they was like, yeah, you're doing a bit too much around here. Like, now you're at party. So I wasn't really trying to go like that. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to go because I don't want Toya to be alone with them. Like, you know, you just never know. Like, I don't know. It's going to be alcohol involved, all type of shit. And so I was like, yeah, you just never know. So I wanted to go. So she like, okay, I'm going to go with my homegirls because they was, like I said, was trying to get close to her and, like, you know, put them under their wing and shit. So she was like, she going to go with them or whatever like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. So later that day, because I'm like, since she going with them and she didn't want to go, she was like, girl, I'm not going to that shit. Let her go by. Like, y'all, that's her people. Like, I'm not going. So since she didn't want to go, I was like, okay, I'll go. So I ended up hitting up Toxic. I don't know why I was going to say that girl name. I ended up hitting up Toxic. And because she been trying to hang out and shit like that. And like I said, since I've been hanging out with Shisha and Toya, I've been hanging out with them so much that I literally wasn't hanging out with Toxic. And like I said, things was weird between us anyway. And we wasn't just like, I don't know, shit was just not the same. So I really didn't even care. And plus, I'm going to school with these girls. So it's like I see them every day after class. It's like, you know, just already like, damn, we right here. Let's go. So I'm hitting up Toxic. And I'm like, girl, what you doing this weekend? Like, what you doing tonight, actually? So she's like, oh, I'm not doing nothing. Like, let's go somewhere. So I was like, ooh, okay. You trying to go to a kickback? So she was like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm trying to go or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, we can go to this kickback. So I'm telling her all the details. You know, it's such and such. It's this hood, da 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 da. So she like, all right, cool. That works for me. So I end up going to her house or whatever. We chilling. We just chilling, letting time go by or whatever. And I told her, like, girl, yeah, I'm telling her about my friends and stuff like that. So I said the girl Toya name. So she was like, Toya, mind you, Toxic, why is her name popping up? She better not pop up anywhere. I don't want to see that girl. Even though we do kind of see each other often because, yeah. But anyway, we don't speak. But yeah, so she ended up popping. No, I ended up telling her, yeah, what was I at? My bad. Toxic went to school, the same school as Toya and Shisha, right? But Shisha didn't know. So when I said, yeah, my friends, I said their name. I'm like, Shisha, Toya. So she's like, wait, Toya such and such? And she said her last name. I'm like, I don't know that girl's last name. So she started describing her and stuff. So I'm like, oh yeah. She was like, what the fuck? I know her. Like, I used to call her twin. Like, you know, we used to call each other twin at school. So I'm like, oh, even perfect. Like, now it's cool. Y'all already know each other. Because I'm not the type to mix friend groups. But I'm like, cool, y'all already know each other. So it's cool. So she's like, yeah, girl, I know her. She's cool as hell. Wow, that's crazy. It's such a small world. So I'm like, right. So I'm talking to her about it and all this other shit. And I was like, okay, let's actually, no, the kickback wasn't that night. Okay, I had to go back. The kickback was not that night. It was like 2 nights later or the next night. I forgot, but it was not that night. So when I'm at Toxic House, Toya ended up hitting me up like, girl, what you doing? Because my shoes with her homegirls, they was doing, I don't know what they was doing. But they was just kicking and she ended up hitting me up like, what you doing? Come get me. Like, let's do something. I ended up, yeah, my bad. So rewind, the kickback wasn't that night. It was like 2 nights later. So yeah, I'm at Toxic House and Toya ended up hitting me up like, what you doing? Blah, blah, blah. She was like, I'm with Shisha. Let's link. So I'm like, okay. I'm with my best friend. So I'm like, remember I was telling y'all about my homegirl? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, she said she know you. So she's like, what's your homegirl name? So I told her, like, her name Toxic. So she's like, why you didn't tell me your friend name was Toxic? I know her. Mind you, me and Toxic wasn't posting on Instagram and stuff because like I said, we wasn't hanging out like that. So I'm like, she like, I know her. I'm like, right, she just told me y'all used to call each other twin. She like, right, oh my God, bring her. What the fuck? Like, it's a small world. So I'm like, right. So me and Toxic end up going over there. We pulled up to their hood or whatever, and we over there, we just chilling. So Shisha and them, they get in the car, and y'all, Shisha used to not play. Shisha used to feel like the passenger seat was her seat. Like, I swear to God, that girl used to feel like this my seat. And it's like, girl, no. So she walked up and she was like, dang, I wanted to get in the front. But Toxic was already in the front. And Toxic was just sitting there. And I'm like, she should just get in the car. Like, you know, basically, you're in the back seat, girl, you doing too much. So she ended up getting in the car. And Toxic and Toya, they just like rekindling, like, oh my God, girl, I ain't seen you in so long, da da da. They just talking. Mind you, I told before, when she told me she knew who Toya was, when Toxic told me she knew who Toya was, I told her, like, it's this boy from their hood. Let's call him, we used to hang out with him all the time. Let's call him Von, like King Von, for a lot of reasons why we gonna call this man that. So yeah, we they had a lot of similarities. So we gonna call him Von. So I was telling Toxic, because mind you, when we was in middle school, so I don't remember what I named oh boy, but remember the boy I used to talk to back in middle school, where the girl, I found out my homegirl was talking to him and all this other shit, and I ripped the thing out the girl page, book, and all that shit. Remember that? So that in middle school, him and Von was best friends, right? So he wasn't from the same hood as Von, but he was from a hood that was like up the street, around the corner, some shit. They still was like whatever, but he wasn't around at this time. So him and Von was best friends in middle school. So eventually Toxic ended up talking to Von because I was talking to old boy, right? So in middle school they ain't do shit, because Von was really like one of them people. It was like didn't seem like he was, you know, into girls like that back then. Like, I don't know, he just wasn't like, I don't know, it was just whatever. So she talked to him or whatever. I don't know if these people even kissed. I don't think they even did this. She talking to him back in middle school. So I was telling her, like, girl, remember Von? And she like, yeah, I remember Von. I'm like, he be over there too. Like, he's from that hood, da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, and him and Toya talk. Like, that's her boo. Like, you know, Toya love that man. Like, that's her. So she's like, dang, they in a relationship. So I'm like, no, they're not together, but that's her boo. That's her. Like, Toya loved him. So she's like, oh, okay, you know, mind you, I told her this. So we get in the car or whatever. We end up pulling up to another part of the hood. Everybody outside just kicking and stuff. And they like, oh, who is that? You know, because somebody knew. So they like, who is that? So I'm like, this my homegirl, this Toxic. They're like, oh, okay, what's up, Toxic? What's up with you? So she like, hi, da da da. So mind you, Von wasn't over there. So she like, where's Von at? Like, that's what Toxic was asking. I mean, Toya was asking where Von was at. So Toya like, where's Von at? Where's Von at? So they like, oh, no, he not over here right now. Like, he probably ain't in the hood. So she like, I'm about to call him. But mind you, he didn't never pop up or whatever. So right, that happened. And we end up just chilling. It was a cool ass day. We all had a cool time. I ended up taking them home, and Toxic ended up coming to my house to spend the night. So now it's the day of the kickback, right? Now let's get to that day. So it's the day of the kickback, and like I said, Toya is riding with her homegirls from her hood and shit, right? So me and Toxic gonna ride together. So who hits me up to get a ride with me, right? Von. And dang, so me and Von brother used to have like this little chemistry with each other. And let's just name him Dirk. So me and Von brother Dirk, we used to have this chemistry with each other, but it never really went nowhere like that. And it's crazy because it was so much like, it just never went nowhere like that because a lot of reasons why. And I'll tell those reasons later because we got a lot of story time. So yeah, so Von asked for a ride. Von was like, oh, you going to a little shit tonight? And I'm like, yeah. So he was like, all right, come get us. Like, come pick me, Dirk, and the other homeboy. Let's just call him CJ. He's like, come pick me, Dirk, and CJ up. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to be with my homegirl. I'm like, you remember Toxic? So he like, no. So I'm like, Toxic, remember my friend? He's like, oh, yeah, I remember her. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be with her. So he like, all right, yeah, come get us. So me and Toxic head over there and we went to his house. They all at Von house, right? So before we was going to the kickback, Dirk had asked me if I could take him somewhere. I forgot where he asked me to take him. Probably to go meet up with somebody to go buy or sell something. Who knows? I don't really remember. So where we went to, it was not too far from Toxic's job. So Toxic worked at a food place. So Toxic was like, ooh, let's get something to eat from my job or whatever. I could get us a discount. She was like, depending on who up in there, I could get us some food for free. So they was like, oh, where you work at? She said where she worked at. And they was like, ooh, yeah, let's go get some of that. So we pull up to Toxic job. We told her what we wanted. She was like, yeah, y'all can't come in because literally the boy that was at the register, if he was going to be there, she was going to get it for free because he liked her. So she went up in there by herself or whatever. We in the car. We just talking, chilling or whatever. And we just, just talking and shit. So they like, she seemed real cool. I'm like, right, she's cool. Like, she cool or whatever. So she get back in the car. We got the food. Now we headed towards the room, right? So when we on the way to the room, I don't know what transpired. Like, I don't know what happened. They in the backseat talking. They just talking about random ass shit. Like, niggas just talking about random shit, just making jokes and shit. And they not even talking to us, mind you. They're not talking to us. The music on, they talking. Me and her talking to each other, laughing about shit. I don't know what happened, but Toxic was like, it was like they was talking about a girl, but like I don't know. They was talking about somebody, but it wasn't us. It wasn't nobody we knew. They was just talking but laughing and shit. I don't know what they said, but it irritated Toxic. So Toxic like, niggas be talking a whole lot of shit while they in the back seat. Mind you, don't say she thought they was talking about her, because she did not. They did not say shit. It didn't even make sense, because it was like, basically they was talking about a girl like CJ messed with before. She didn't even know CJ. She just now me and CJ and Dirk. So they like, yeah, she like, niggas talking a whole lot of shit while they in the back seat. So Dirk, mind you, Dirk had a mouth on him. Von did too, but like, yeah, it depends. But Dirk, like Von for the most part, he would say shit, but he'd be like playing with us type shit. But Dirk, he had a mouth on him. So Dirk like, what? So she was like, you heard what I said? I said niggas be in the back seat doing the most, and they ain't even got a car. Some she said like that, right? So Dirk was like, bitch, you're in the passenger seat. And she was like, okay, of my best friend's car, So he's like, bitch, you ain't got no car either. So I'm like, hey, because mind you, like I said, back then, now me today, like, no, I'm not going to be hanging around people that just calling us all type of 60 bitches a day. But no, back then, I don't know why. It was just regular. Like, they'd say bitch this, bitch that. But like, y'all bitches, it wouldn't be like bitch come here type shit. Like, nope, they never got at me like that. But they'd be like, y'all bitches crazy. Or bitch. Like, I don't know. It's just like whatever. Not saying it's cool because it's not. But anyway, so I'm like, yeah, but you said bitch to her. Like, how he talking is like she would, I don't know if he's serious or not, honestly. So I was like, hey, like, y'all not finna do all that. Like, nah, none of that. So he's like, I'm just saying, like, she talking like she just superior and shit. Like, why you over here talking in our conversation? Like, why you speaking on our conversation? She was like, because y'all talking loud enough I could hear y'all. So he's like, you don't even know who the fuck we talking about. So she's like, I don't give a fuck who y'all talking about. Like I said, niggas be having the most to say and they ain't even got no car. So he's like, bitch, you don't even got a car. She's like, and I could have a car if I wanted a car. So I'm like, okay, y'all, this is enough. Like, y'all need to be arguing. Like, no. So he was like, bitch, da-da-da-da, I probably got more money than you. And she's like, oh, I got a job. We just left my job. And let's just say, I'm not going to say where she worked at, but let's just say she worked at, like, Burger King or something. He was like, but this is not what he called her. He called her, like, of what she worked at. So he was just like, bitch, you the fucking burger lady. You ain't got more money than me. Like, I got money, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I just got out. And I got more money than you. And just talking. And I'm just like, oh, my God. See, this is another reason why I didn't really like Dirk. Because, like, why are you doing the most? So they just talking, they just like going back to it. So I was like, it's not that deep. Okay, come on now. Whoever got whatever money, it's not that serious. Okay, shut the fuck up if I put all of y'all out the car. But I'm talking about them in the back seat. So then Toxic like, yeah, because my best friend would put y'all out in y'all enemy's hood. I said, oh, I wouldn't do all that. Look, and for one, I wouldn't even put them out the car, no way. So I said, oh, girl, I wouldn't do all that. Come on now, let's be real. And he was like, no, the fuck she wouldn't. He was like, she been around us for so long. He was like, and you ain't never been around. So is y'all even really best friends? Because where the fuck you even came from? I ain't seen you. And mind you, I've been hanging out with them probably like for like a good month and a half straight. Like, so he like, I ain't never seen you. I ain't never heard about you. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, who are you? So I'm like, come on now, calm down. So I'm like, Vaughn, get your brother. So he just laughing. CJ and him laughing because he really going in and like he talking shit. So Toxic like, I can have any nigga I want. Do you see me? I could pull up with any nigga I want, with any type of car. Do you see me? And he was just like, bitch, B word, because I'm saying too much now. So he was like, just because you light skinned, that shit don't mean nothing. That don't mean you cute. He was like, on average, he was like on a regular day or some shit. He was like, you probably he was like, on a regular day you like a 6 or something, he said to her. And she was just like, oh, you're funny. Like I said, I could have any nigga pull up right now and beat your ass. Bitch, no you did not. So I said, Toxic, we ain't doing this. Mind you, we're on the way to a room with they homies and homegirls. So it's like, do you want them to like, because if you saying you could have a nigga beat his ass, I'm pretty sure he'll tell his homegirls right then and there and they gonna run you. So I'm like, girl, chill out. Both of y'all, I'm like, both of y'all, shut the fuck up. So at this point, I just scream because I'm just like, shut up. So CJ like, oh, Simone, y'all making her mad. Leave her alone because Simone don't even be yelling like that. But I'm like, nah, for real, y'all shut up. Like, this is doing too much. It's not that deep. We're going to get to where we're going. We're going to have a good time. Because he was like, bring any nigga. He was like, and I bet you I could point out the homegirl that ain't even got the best squabble. And she'll beat your ass. Like, he was like, so, and I said, we ain't doing none of that. So I stopped. Y'all, I stopped. Mind you, we not that far from the room. So I stopped and I was just like, look, we're going to go to the room. We're going to have a good time. It ain't going to be none of that. What happened in this car is going to stay in the car and we just going to let it air out. He was like, nah, get your homegirl. Like, she weird. Like, why is you bringing up niggas and you talking about enemies? Like, who is this? Like, she a op. Like, who is, well, he say op, but like, the word, whatever they used back then. So he's like, who is this bitch? Like, who are you? Who are you? So she was just like, oh, I'm toxic motherfucking last name. Like, girl, what? So he was like, bitch, I don't give a fuck if you was blah, blah, blah. Like, so I was like, okay, like, let it go. She like, Symone, I'm not worried about him. Like, those niggas is bums. Like, they bums. Like, but she said he a bum or whatever. But she talking about him and CJ, I'm assuming. Because Vaughn was like, who are you talking about? When she said them niggas bums, she was like, not you. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about him back there. And he was like, yeah. He was like, all right, not too much on my brother, though. Like, y'all doing too much. Just shut up. So I'm like, right, shut up. So now it's awkward. We driving and it's just silence. It's silence. I don't know why the radio was down because I cut it down when I was yelling at them and I never turned it back up. So it's silence. Next thing you know, CJ just started dying laughing. He said, that nigga Vaughn, he gonna say, that nigga Dirk called her the burger lady. And I just was like, bro, shut the fuck. Like, why'd you start this shit again? She's like, and still got more money than all of y'all. And I'm just like, bro. So I was like, when I start this shit again? So I turned the music up super loud. We finally get to the little room or whatever, right? So we pull up, you know, it's not luxury. It's really like, you know, like it wasn't a Motel 6, but it gave those vibes. You know, the rooms where you pull up and you know some strange things for change is going on up in there. So we pull up to the room or whatever. We like, what room they at? And they tell us, so right when we pull up, they all hop out the car. And I was like, Dirk, remember what I said? What happened to Carson CA? He's like, man, ain't nobody worry about that weird ass bitch. And he left and they went upstairs. So I'm like, Toxic, you good? Like, do you want to stay or you want to go? She's like, no, I'm good. I want to go in there. I want to have fun. Anybody worried about him? Da-da-da-da. So I'm like, all right, but let's not argue. Like, y'all don't need to do all that. So I was like, did he say something to you or something? You know, because I'm just trying to figure out. I'm like, did he say something to you? She was like, no, he didn't say nothing, but I just heard the way he was talking. I hate when niggas be talking like that and they be broke. Girl, you don't even know him. He was broke, but you don't even know him. So I'm just like, all right, but why did it bother you so bad? Like, they not talking to you, like. But I was just like, girl, okay, we're gonna have a good time. Like, you know, she's like, yeah, we're gonna have a good time. I'm not worried about him. I'm gonna go in there. She's like, I'm trying to meet me some new booze anyway. I'm just like, how you start shit with this nigga going to his hood shit and think you finna meet his homies? That's crazy. Crazy. So anyway, before we get out the car, we just like talking, trying to like get ourselves together. And I end up texting Toya and telling her like, we here, we outside. I'm like, girl, I gotta tell you what happened. Dirk and Toxic done got into it. So she like laughing my ass off. Tell her don't worry about shit that nigga say. Like, you know, me and him get into it every day. Literally every day Toya and Dirk will get into it. Because that nigga, like I said, had a mouth on him. And he wanted people that's gonna talk you the down. Like, you not finna end the argument with him unless you just leave. Because he's not gonna stop. So I was like, right, yeah, like, you know, but I didn't want to tell her, even though, like I said, he's like that. I wasn't finna tell Toxic because it's her first time meeting her, and I didn't want to justify his actions, like, by basically saying, like, girl, he's always like this, get over it. But no, but, like, even though she started, because you literally jumped in a conversation. But, yeah, so anyway, we sitting down there, we talking. So she was just like, oh, Toya's up in there? And I'm like, yeah, I told you, that's why we here. Like, you know, so she was like, oh, okay. So she was like, am I tripping? Or Vaughn kind of look a little good now. Like, he look good now. And she was like, the tattoos and this, and like, he done got like taller and shit. Like, she like, Vaughn look good. So I was like, I guess. Like, I don't know. Because mind y'all, everybody that I hang out with, remember, ooh, too much. Okay, remember when I said that I used to hang out with people, like, I look at these people like, no, except Dirk, we kind of had a little chemistry, but like everybody else, I look at them like bros. Like, these my brothers, I don't look at them like that. And plus, Toya like him and I'm cool with her, so it's like, yeah. So he like, yeah, what he say to me, what she say to me, she was just like, yeah, he look good. So I was like, girl, I don't look at him like that. I'm like, that's Toya, man, like, that's him. She's like, but you said they not in a relationship, right? So I'm like, yeah, but you know, that's her. Like, you know, that's literally, that's her boo. Like, we all know that. Like, you know, you know, that's her boo. So she's like, oh, okay, no, I was just saying. She's like, all right, let's go up in there, right? So we go up in there, and I told Toya, like, come to the door, because we finna come in, and it's like, I don't know what to expect. So we go up in there, we open the door, y'all. So the room is dark. It's dark. It's probably like the light from the TV is the only thing. Toya's sitting there. She like, hey, y'all. Well, she not sitting there because she came to the door opening. And then she like, hey, y'all, whatever. We come in. It's people sitting on the bed. The room is big, though. Like, you know, them little janky rooms be big as hell. And they had the conjoining room. So they had the door open from the other room. The other room pitch black, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm saying what's up to people, like, oh, people I know, like, hey, what's up? So I'm like, this is my homegirl Toxic, the other girls that was in there. So I'm like, where are all your homegirls at? Because mind you, she on the side where it's like, it was like probably like 3 girls, like it was, well, 3, I put up 2 fingers. It was 3 girls. There was one girl we went to school with, Toxic knew her too. And it was like this other girl that used to mess with 7. she was right there too. So yeah, mind y'all, 7 is from this hood. So yeah, so she like right there, and I was just like, oh, okay. So then she came in, and like, I mean, she just sitting there, she looked at me or whatever. We could give her a name, because I do got a story time about her. Let's just call her Gia. Let's call her Gia. So anyway, so Gia ended up going in the other room or whatever. So I'm like, okay, like, you know, we got our food. We came up in there. I was like, you want some, girl? So she's like, yeah, I want some. So we eating the food. We just talking and stuff. She's like, your cousin was here. So I'm like, for real? She was like, yeah, he was here. I told him you finna come. And he's like, no, the fuck she not. I was like, but he cool. He cool. I told him, like, you know, it's cool or whatever. So he's like, all right. She's like, yeah, as long as you don't go in that room, then you good. Like, you good. So I'm like, why I don't go in that room? She's like, girl, just don't go in that room. And I was like, why? She's like, just don't. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go in that room then. So we sitting down on the floor. I don't know why we sitting on the floor. Probably because everybody was in chairs and shit. So we sitting down on the floor. It's like a little, it's the bed. It's like the little table, little fake kitchenette area over there. So Vaughn and all of them is sitting over there, right? So me and Toxic sitting on the floor, and Toya was sitting next to us eating. She ended up going back over there by her homegirls and shit. We just chilling, the music playing, people coming in and out. Oh, what's up, Symone, girl? Like, blah, 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 blah. This your friend? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. You know, all that good stuff. So next thing you know, I'm thinking, I'm like, where's 7? So y'all, I ended up texting him, and I was like, where you at? So he's like, oh, I'm just chilling. I'm in the room. So I'm like, you in the room? So I end up calling him, y'all. Thirsty. I call him. I'm like, hello? He like, yeah, what's up? So I'm like, you in the room? He's like, yeah, I'm in the room. So I was like, me too. So he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm in the room too. So he's like, oh, okay. Okay, all right, that's what's up. Y'all, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna see you then. So he's like, okay. And I hung up. So I ended up getting up, and I was like, Toxic, mind you, I was like, Toxic, I want to go over there real quick. Mind you, even though Toya told me not to go in that room. So I'm like, I want to go over there real quick. So I went to Toya. Mind you, Toya did not know I was talking to 7 like this. And mind you, old girl was there, and she went over to the other side. So I'm thinking like, oh, I see what's going on. So I ended up telling Toya like, oh, I want to go up over there on the other side. So she's like, Symone, no, you don't. So I'm like, yes, I do. I'm like, because 7's over there. She was like, no, he's not. And I was like, he just said he's in the room. So she's like, girl, 7 is not over there. So I'm like, was he here? And she was like, girl, no, I don't think he coming. So I ended up calling him back like, 7, you said you was in the room. He like, I am in my room. So I'm like, wait, you got a room here too? He's like, a room where? And I'm telling him like, I'm at the room at, you know, the such and such room. He like, let's just say it's like called Shady Inn. I'm like, I'm at the Shady Inn. He like, I'm not there. I'm like, what? Why? He's like, cause why would I be there? I'm like, literally almost everybody from your hood is here. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to that shit. Like, why are you there? So I'm like, I'm here with Toya. He's like, oh, that's what you saying? He's like, I was so confused when you said you in the room too. I'm like, okay, like, why she call me to tell me she in her room? So I'm like, oh, I thought you was here. So I'm like, you gonna pull up? He was like, no. I really thought he was gonna come. I'm like, you want me to come see you? He like, no, I'm not coming to that. I was just like, okay, whatever. So I end up getting off the phone with him. I go back, I'm sitting by Toxic. And next thing you know, I guess it was too loud, so that the people call on the phone, they get a noise complaint, right? They get a noise complaint. One of the girls, she don't need a name, but it's just crazy. This girl turned her whole, you ever see somebody would be like one way? Well, a lot of people I've seen that way, and I be just like, salute. Where they been one way and they turned their whole life around. Like when I be running into this girl, I be like, she turned her whole, you would not expect her to be that way. Anyway, they get a noise complaint. The room was in her name, so she like, oh my God, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna be down there in a minute. So they like, what, he want more bread or something? She was like, I didn't pay for this room. I sucked that for this room. I'm about to go down there and just put it on him one more time, and we gonna be good. We gonna be good. Y'all keep turning up. Don't turn the music down. We good. So, cause mind you, 9 times out of 10, nobody complained. He probably just know that's how he gonna get some more out of her. If he say that and she gonna come down there to, you know, make him happy type shit. Cause ain't nobody complaining in this room. It's literally a lot of janky shit going on. Ain't nobody complaining about nothing. So anyway, she leave out. We sitting there. Next thing you know, Dirk end up coming over there by me, and he's sitting like, I'm sitting in the middle, Toxic on this side, Dirk sitting on this side. He's just talking to me, and he was just like, what's up with you? And I was like, don't come over here and start. Like, if you gonna come over here and start, then don't start. He's like, I'm not about to start. Like, I'm not. So then Toxic was like, I'm about to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, you want me to come with you? She's like, girl, no, it's cool. And so she get up. When she stand up, she like fixing herself, of course, because you know it's a lot of people up in here. She went straight to the table where Vaughn was sitting at and sat at the table where Dirk was just sitting. So she went and sat right there next to Vaughn. So I'm like, why she do that? You know, I'm thinking like, oh, hopefully she don't piss in that chair, because that's not the toilet, girl. But she's sitting right next to him, which was weird. So mind you, everybody been drinking. Toya looked over, and Toya looked, and she like seen like hold up. But mind y'all, I told y'all this Toya boo. And yeah, so yeah, we I'm still sitting there. I'm talking to Von. I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm talking to Dirk. We just talking about a whole bunch of shit, and yeah, all this other stuff and all this stuff. We just talking, you know, whatever. So next thing you know, Toxic, she over there for a cool minute. She over there laughing, like, doing the most. She laughing, talking to Von, like Von doing the most, like touching his shoulder and doing the most, hand on his shoulder. So Toya was like, what the fuck? Mind you, Toya homegirls, everybody know that Von is Toya's. So everybody like, what the fuck is going on? Like, they like, this not her boyfriend, but they know, like, you know. So they like, what the fuck? So she was like, that's weird as fuck. This is weird as fuck. Like, no, this shit is weird. So she was like, what the fuck? So her homegirls was like, girl, don't even know. Like, you know, mind you, we in a room. It's not that little, but you could hear everything that's going on. So they like, girl, no, it's cool. It's cool. Like, don't even worry about it. It's cool. You're not even worried. So she like, what? So Toxic looked back and looked at her, and she looked at her and just smiled and went back to talking to Von. So then Toya was like, Von, come here. So he was like, man, he laughing because everybody know the shit just look weird as hell. So I ended up getting up and I go over there and I was like, Toxic, like, you good? Come back over here, over here. So she's like, I'm good. I'm talking to Von. And I was like, okay, but like, talk to him a different time or something. Like, she's like, I'm good. I want to talk to Von. Like, he cool, Von. We talking, we catching up. She's like, remember we used to date? I don't know why when she said that shit, she said it so loud. Like, she's like, remember we used to date? Like, said it loud. So he was like, he started laughing. He was like, that was middle school. And she was just like laughing, and like he just said something so funny, and she just kept on like putting her hand on him. So like it just got so weird. Like it got weird as fuck. So then next thing you know, the girl that we knew that we went to school with too, and Toxic knew her too, she ended up coming over there and she was just like, Toxic, like, I know we ain't seen you in a minute. She was just like, but you know that Von fuck with Toya? And she was just like, oh. And so Von was just like, man, that's not my bitch. Like, why are you doing all of that? Like, you doing the most. She was like, I'm just saying, like, you came with Symone for Toya, like, and you talking to this nigga Von, like, that's weird. And she was just like, oh, he said that's not his bitch. Like, you know, she was like, yeah, that's not that. He was like, man, that's not my, you know how niggas be, you know, you just know how to be. So I don't care what that nigga said. I told you, they be fucking. I be seeing it. No, I don't actually see them, but yeah. So I'm just like, all right, Toxic, come on. So they was like, no, that's weird. So the next thing you know, Toya is over there talking shit, but she drunk. She like, bitches is weird as fuck. Da 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 da. Like, she talking shit. Like, she's mad, and they was just like, girl, just calm down, calm down. So I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to go. Let's just get up out of here. So she like, I'm not ready to go. So Von was like, Symone, you my ride. So if you leaving, I'm leaving. So then Toya was like, Symone, can you give me a ride home? So I'm like, oh shit. Mind you, CJ, he was like, he gonna stay. He gonna go with somebody else. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, all right. So I might go over there to her. I'm like, Toya, you cool? So I'm like, all right, we're gonna get ready to go. So Von getting up to go outside. Toxic go outside with the nigga Von. I'm like, this bitch finna piss me off. So I go over there to Toya. I'm like, Toya, you good? You good? She's like, I'm cool. I'm cool. She's like, but that's weird. Like, that's weird. She's like, maybe I'm tripping because, like, I didn't say this was you know, that I talked to him. She's like, but when we was in the car the other day, you heard me asking about him. You heard niggas saying, like, damn, you just won't stop looking for that nigga. Like, you know how niggas try to blanch. Like, when she was looking for him, they was saying little shit like, you in love. You in love. And she like, yep. Mind you, had a nigga name tag and all that. So, yeah. And she was showing, like, you heard this girl talking about him. You never mentioned. Like, I don't know. That would have been weird to be like, I used to talk to him in middle school. That would have been a weird moment to say that shit. But it's like, you knew this. You wanted to be around this girl because you're like, yeah, she's cool. We used to call each other twine. But so I didn't understand what was going on neither. So then she was like, that's just weird. Maybe I'm tripping. Da da da. So I was like, I don't know. We'll just talk about it later. Like, you know, because these both my friends. So I'm like, we'll just talk about it another time. I'm like, maybe it was just a friendly conversation. They just probably catching up, you know, because she know him too. Like, they went to school together. You know, it's probably just friendly. It was nothing. I don't think it's nothing like that. So she was just like, she said something about dating him. But when she said that, like I said, he was like, that was middle school, and was like, the fuck, like, type shit. So I was like, let's just talk about it. Come on, girl. Like, let's go. So Dirk was like, that bitch messy as fuck. Talk about toxic. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So we end up leaving out. We get in the car. Toya get in the front seat. Toxic, Von, and Dirk in the back seat. So we driving. Mind you, Toya house is first. Toxic coming with me. So after we drop off Toya, we gonna drop off Dirk and Von, and we gonna go to my house. So yeah, we driving. And next thing you know, Toya was just like, I don't know if I'm tripping or if bitches is just weird. Mind you, she's drunk. So she like, excuse me. So like, I don't know if I'm tripping or if bitch is just weird. Like, I don't know if I'm tripping or what. So Toya not saying shit. Toya not saying nothing. So I'm like, we'll talk about it when everybody's sober. You know, we talk about it later. It's all good. So she like, I don't know, like maybe I'm tripping. Am I tripping? Am I tripping? So Dirk like, no, you not tripping. Yo, I'm just like, this nigga's weird. So I'm like, just driving, trying to drive a little faster, like, you know. So I'm like, everything is cool, everything cool. We gonna talk another time. So then Toya was like, yeah, Toxic, I want to ask you something. She was like, did you not know that I fuck with Vaughn? Did you not know that? So Toxic was like, girl, I was not trying to talk to him. Like, we literally was just like catching up on stuff. Like, I know that's you. Like, you was asking about him. Like, I'm not trying to talk to him type shit. She was saying that. So she's like, okay, well, I'm sorry, twin. Like, I'm sorry. I did not know. Like, I didn't know. Like, she's like, my bad for like doing that thing, doing the most. She's like, I didn't know. And I'm like, everybody's drunk, so it's fine. Like, you know, like, let's just let it go. She like, my bad thing, I didn't know. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. I was tripping. So we end up dropping Toya off. She's like, all right, bye, y'all. She's like, I don't, like, you know, this is our first time really hanging out. She was like, again. So she's like, I just didn't, you know, like, basically spare herself. So I'm like, no, it's cool, because she was a sweetheart. Toya was really sweet. So she ended up leaving, going to her house. Y'all, the moment we pull off to go take Vaughn and Dirk home, this bitch Toxic. I would have beat the fuck out that bitch if she kept playing with me. When she was talking in that motherfucking room, I was ready to go over there and just beat her ass and just take off on her. Because she got me fucked up. Girl, I don't give a fuck. If I want Vaughn, I could have Vaughn. So Vaughn like, what? And she was like, I'm just saying, like, if I want to give Vaughn to, I could. Talking so much shit. So much shit. She was like, da 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 da. So they not saying nothing. Like, Vaughn would just chime in every now and again, like, oh my god, this shit is messy, this shit is weird, like, nah, get me the fuck home. So I'm like, Toxic, just shut up, just shut up. She's like, no, I'm not gonna shut up. I'm just saying, like, ain't nobody scared of her. She think because she a gangbanger, somebody scared of her. Like, bitch, ain't nobody fucking scared of you, da 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 da. I just spare her because she's drunk, but yeah, when I see her again, it's up, da da da, bop 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 bop, doing the most, the absolute most, right? And I'm just like, Toxic, just shut up. Just shut up, y'all. We end up dropping Dirk and Vaughn off at home. We on the way back. So I'm just like, she's like, yeah, because, like, I'm going to hit her up. I'm going to say something like, okay, he don't even claim you. He said, you not, y'all not together, da-da-da-da. Like I said, Vaughn look good now. She just talking so much shit, y'all. So much shit. And at this point, I was just so irritated. So Toxic, we end up going to the house. Toxic ended up going home in the morning, right? So Toya called me and was just like, Symone, like, I was talking to my homegirls and they was just telling me, like, people was telling me what happened. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. Let me tell y'all why I couldn't go in the other room. Why she was telling me, like, they was fucking in that other room. Like, it was some weird fucking going on. So that's why she's like, girl, don't go up in there. But anyway, so yeah, it was like a lot of girls and guys going in and out, because you'll see some guys coming in and out. But yeah, that's what was going on. Fuck. So anyway, yeah, so Toya ended up calling me. She was like, oh my god, what's Toxic's number? So Toya ended up calling me and she was just like, oh my god, what's Toxic's number? Like, I feel so bad. Like, I just want to call her and apologize because they said I was doing too much and I shouldn't have been doing that, because, like, they could have literally, ooh, I don't know who's sneezing outside, but bless you. She was like, because they literally could have been having just a conversation. I felt like I just did too much. I made it awkward. So I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. She said it was cool. Like, don't worry about it or whatever. Mind you, Toxic not at my house no more. So I'm like, yeah, just don't worry about it. So she was like, no, I really want to apologize to her. And I'm just like thinking, because I'm just like, okay, maybe an apology would be good. I'm thinking, like, maybe an apology would work, because I'm like, maybe it's, you know, everybody was drinking, so I'm like, maybe, I don't know why Toxic waited till she left to talk shit, but, you know, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna give you her number. So I give her number, but first I asked Toxic, like, is it cool if I give Toya a number, because she want to apologize to you? She's like, yeah, it's cool. She's like, I'm gonna tell that bitch about herself, mind you. So she ended up getting her number. And next thing you know, Toxic ended up calling me and was like, yeah, I had to cuss that bitch out. I had to let her know, like, don't play with me. I was just like, dang. I was like, dang, you know what? It's all right. Like, you know, I'm not worried about it. Like, I'm just not going to mix these friends again, because I like Toya and them, and I like Toxic too at this point, where I guess we trying to like each other and be friends again. So, yeah, why Toya called me, and I was like, dang, what happened? You know, because I'm not going to tell her, like, Toxic tell me what happened. She going to say, it was cool. She told me, like, it was cool, and she missed me, and, like, we all need to hang out again, and we should do this, da-da-da. And I'm like, what? She said, so I'm sitting here confused as hell, like, what? Mind you, like I said, Toya was sweet, but she going to fight. Like, she most definitely is going to fight. So I was sitting here so confused, like, I know she not lying, because if it went a different way, Toya will be ready to fight her. Because like I said, she's gonna fight. It's a lot of stories I'm gonna tell y'all. But so I was sitting here like, why did Toxic lie? I don't know if she thought like she wasn't gonna tell me or something. So she was like, yeah, she was saying it's cool, we should hang out. She's like, I just feel so bad, you know, I'm doing all that over Vaughn and shit, da da da. So I'm like, right, that's so crazy, you know, because I'm just so confused at this point. So she was like, yeah, it's cool or whatever, like we cool. I was like, all right, well, I guess so or whatever, y'all. And that was it for this story because yeah, because it's more stories that led up to it and shit just got weird. It just got so fucking weird, y'all. But that's the beginning of like when shit just started. Like I should never mix that friend group, but everything happened for a reason, because if I would have never did that, then well, me and Toxic most definitely would have eventually fell out, because it was just so weird. It was like she just was willing. It's just like, I don't know, it was weird, but maybe I was wrong. Because was I wrong for I don't know, what did I do? Not in this part, but it's gonna be more parts when I'll ask y'all, was I wrong? Because y'all gonna see. So yeah, that's it for this story time. That was like part 1, I guess, of this little like leading up to the why me and Toxic fell out series. But yeah, it's gonna be a few little stories, but no, you know what, it's not even that many. Like, but it's a few. Just know that shit was between her and Toya. Like, it just was just where basically I was put in the middle of it by Toxic. Not even by, it was, man, like I said. Anyway, but that's it for this story, you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to shop Brishari tomorrow, October 3rd, the pink bag. Don't forget to keep running up these numbers during Vlogtober so we could keep it going. Don't forget to go ahead and watch tomorrow's story time. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys so much, and let's have a good Vlogtober, y'all. All right, now, see y'all in my next video.